All right. Hey, Clint from the Doorway too, hanging out with the guys in Dalit. Well, a couple of them at least anyway. So thanks for doing this very much. I guess what I'm going to do is kind of have you two both introduce yourself and kind of say what you do in the band first so my readers, listeners, viewers can understand what you guys do.
Yeah, sure. My name is Jon Ivar, or for the English-speaking audience, it should be just John. I play guitars in Dalit. Um, yeah, that's about my role.
Yes, I'm Erlend. I'm also a guitar player in Dalit.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. So the first question I'm going to have is, so I've actually been lucky enough to check out all three of your releases. I've taken some time and listened to them all. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about the, in my opinion, drastic difference between the first and the last record. Um, and I would say it's in a very positive manner where I think there's a lot more atmosphere, melody. I would say that there's still the black and doom elements and post metal and things like that. But I think the female vocals or the more feminine vocals have a have a much more kind of, if I can say, like anathema kind of vibe to it this time around, where it's not been like that before, where I think the band was more focused on that black doom element before. Can you talk a little bit about the evolution from the self-titled release to now, and how you feel the band has changed over those three releases?
Yeah, you go first, Alan.
Uh, just give you a start with easy questions. Um, I think first and foremost, it's not been a matter of choice, really. It just kind of it's always been important for us to do what we want with the music or to play whatever comes up. I think it's been those three albums came it's a long time period and different influences, and we've all grown musically and personally and otherwise. So it's kind of just it's what happens really. It's what's in us at the moment, I guess. It's also, of course, we learn a lot during the times and production-wise and everything, and we get better at what we do. So the sound, there's the sonic difference from the first album, which was recorded in John's home studio. It's his first home studio,
Yep.
and then the second one was more of a primitive setup on another location we recorded, and then we had a professional engineer to mix it for us. And the third one was the current one was yes, in the studio you see right now. That's where we recorded most of it, the guitars anyway.
Yep.
So it just we got better at what we did, and we got better people to do the sound for us. And we grow and develop.
Yeah, and we started the band in 2006, so it's been quite a long haul, really. And in some doom bands, even though they play slow, they kind of have a quite high rate when it comes to releasing albums.
Mhm.
We've released 3 albums over 15 years, so we take our time, and naturally, we, as Alan said, we evolve and we learn, and also the musical. What we prefer as musicians and also what we listen to changes drastically. So I could for sure notice the differences with at least my influences from the first album onto the third one. So it kind of goes in a way that we all agree. I don't think we have any mindset when it comes to what other people say. Really, it's about we would have done this kind of music even though no one would listen to it, because it means so much to us to just to be able to collaborate and be creative with each other. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm
So
glad you mentioned post metal, because both me and John have discovered post metal the last 5 or 6 years. We discovered it, and So you can say he has influenced us, and I'm glad you hear it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was going to talk about a little bit next was the atmospheres of that kind of post-metal sound is what really drew me to this record. So I almost feel like there's a proggy element to it, and and I mean a proggy way, in not so much like a Dream Theater-esque kind of way, but I'm talking more along the lines of like, uh, you know, female fronted bands. In my personal opinion, I hear a lot of influence, and I know you're both from the same country, so there's probably influences, but like Matter Mortem, like I hear a lot of influences of that band, especially when it's the more melodic points or like Old Gathering elements like really kind of shine through with that Black and Doom. So I kind of wanted to ask you, and is it Moksha, the way you pronounce the record?
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, perfect. So, what was the story, and what was the overlying tone that you really wanted to present with that record? Because it's so grandiose. Sometimes it's super doomy, and in other times, to me, it's really atmospheric and almost kind of post metal and proggy. So.
Well, it's hard to really get an exact answer to that one, but our initial songwriter, the drummer Kato, he usually delivers sketches, really crude raw sketches for us to just be creative with and mangle, so to speak, and be able to get to a mutual understanding of where this material is going. And he always has a kind of a more, I don't know, proggy, but at least progressive in a sort of way where it takes the music from one location to another. And sometimes we may have to mellow it down a bit to not overshoot the target. But I think when all the pieces of the puzzle is put together, it kind of just ends up that way. But for sure, the Matamortem reference is interesting because that's at least Alan was one of his favorites, I know. So yeah.
I'm so glad you hear it.
I'm glad. So I kind of want to talk about the kind of lyrical content that's going on here. I've noticed that death doom or doom metal or more kind of somber music always has some kind of good versus evil element to it. And I don't know if it, I mean, I write doom music too, put out 6 records myself, and there's always a dark versus light theme in my music as well too. And I just kind of want to see, do you think that the kind of music with the melancholy and the heavy overtones just plays well to those themes, or is it something that is a very deep personal thing for the band to be able to talk about?
Yes. Well, yeah, I think it both goes hand in hand, but it's also something that comes from a from the deep, really. For my part, at least, I haven't contributed any lyrics on this album, but some of the 2 previous ones, and my contributions have usually been around native people all around the globe, really, kind of, and I have kind of a personal interest when it comes to anthropology and history when it comes to native, both in Norway and other countries as well. But just the treatment and the history and everything. And it's sad to say, but there's so much to take from when it comes to the history. So it kind of becomes, for me at least, a natural resource to tap into. Kato is the one doing most of the lyrics, so he couldn't join us tonight. So I think he would have quite an input on these matters. But yeah, I think it's exactly that. It's the essence, really, portraying humans and what we're capable of doing, both good and bad, and where that puts us as humans. That a life isn't supposed to be only suffering, but yes, there is suffering. There will be occasions of both sides, really.
Perfect. Erlend, anything at all from you, or?
I think Jonas made a perfectly good answer to that.
Sorry, perfect. I'm good with that then.
I may have to mute intermittently because there's some kids in the house. So yeah, just
not a problem at all. Welcome to family life, man. I totally get it. So I kind of want to talk more about the new record than anything because that's the one I've really focused on. I want to talk about a couple of the songs that really spoke to me. And one spoke to me very much in a musical fashion, so I'm glad I have two guitar players here to be able to talk with. The other one kind of hit me emotionally. So I just like the one that really kind of hit me musically is The Hallways of Sadness. And it's got this very interesting tone to it. And I kind of want you guys to talk a little bit about that to me because it seems like it may be a different vision of what the band really does overall. It sounds a little bit different. It's a little more unusual than the rest of the songs on the record. If you both could just take a little bit and talk about how that came about, like, things along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, for my part, we played that one live. The latest, I don't know, latest gigs. It's always really fun to play, for my part at least, and it's a different take to it. At least the start of it is, for me, I don't know. It's makes me feel like Tool.
Yeah.
For a brief moment, just to indulge in that kind of rhythm, and just it's pretty simple, but at least but still something that's really powerful. So but that's also one of Karo's sketches, really. But we have mangled it really hard to make it fit our styles. But I don't know if I have any specifics when it comes to the writing process of it. I don't know if you have, Erlend, but
but I think you said it. We have Kato's sketches, and we just do our thing with it, really. And Always is a really powerful song. Especially the start of it. It's so punchy and it's heavy, and it's kind of just grinding along. It's really it's fun to play. It's kind of to play it loud and you feel the movement of the song. It's really great.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to sound like everything's just a coincidence, but when we work together with mangling Kato's sketches, we go there and say, hey, how about this and how about that, and that's cool. Well, what if we do this? And it's kind of an organic process, really. There's not much planning ahead, just going along and kind of trying to make the best out of whatever ideas comes along.
Yeah, and also that's more generic, really. But in the past, we've been kind of fencing ourselves in when it comes to nailing down every minutia of the pre-production. But I think lately we've been able to take a step back and just do at least the song structure and everything is in place, but leave some room for some magic in the recording moment. Because if you I don't know, if you do everything just feels right in the pre-production and you try to recreate it in a professional studio or whatever, you seldom can make it exactly what you want because you've spent so much time doing it in the pre-prod. So I think we learned to just take a step back and just do have some moments just do their own thing. Sounds like the songs have their life of their own, but I guess it's kind of true, really.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to kind of go back on is there's a lot of breathing room in this record, where on the other ones they feel a lot more dense and there's not a lot of space. And I think with Hallways, the reason why it caught me is that post metal element was really strong on that one, and it made me feel like, okay, you're trying something different but staying within the same palette. Like that was the coolest thing of hearing that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the goal as well, to give it more air.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and at least, or not at least, to be able to perform it live, because we have some other songs from other albums that we are really satisfied with, but when it comes to layering, we just weren't able to pull it off in a good manner live. So we have to at least, make some things when it comes to making the song breathe, but also playable live. So we won't have to hire in 3 extra guitarists and 2 keyboard players just to play live. So yeah.
I can totally understand that. So the other song that I really want to kind of talk about is Anthem, and this one kind of emotionally got me. Um, it So to me, doom metal is either ugly or beautiful. There's only two directions that kind of style of music can go, and they're both great. Like, sometimes you want the skepticism and the Thurgathons out there where it's just ugly, slow, and heavy. But then you have those other bands that just do beautiful, like Saturnus and things like that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the vibe that Anthem gives me. Is like, it's like if you put like Anathema and Saturnus and like middle period Paradise Lost all together, where it's got that gothic almost just beauty to it. It just, like, you could just feel it. Like, it gives you chills when you listen to that song. If you guys could talk a little bit about that one too, I'd really love to hear a bit about that song. So
I'm glad you brought it up, really, and because we've actually received quite a lot of feedback on that particular song. I mean, I'm really pleased with it myself, and but the reactions we got to that song in particular is quite something. I remember especially the lead when it comes to after the female vocals was kind of a collaborative effort between me and Alan, because he had some parts written and I had some part written. And we were actually able to just make one consistent, coherent lead tone out of it. That was a really cool moment. But yeah, the build up and the parts where it just gets down and then comes back in power is I am at least really pleased with that one. Turned out really great, and also Endre, who did the mixing, just did a wonderful job on it, because just really elevated the material to really speak for itself.
I think that's also you said it hit you emotionally, and I think it's at least one of the songs that I like best, because the music kind of it gives something to the lyrics. They connected somehow, and the lyrical theme and there's the female vocal before the lead. The promises of yesterday keeps piling up from below, or it is. So it's a very powerful lyric, and the music kind of supports it. It works great in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really love that song.
Yes, same here. So I want to talk a little bit about the artwork, because it kind of draws me to the record in a very different way. So when I look at the album cover, it reminds me of more of like a 90s death metal record. And I don't know if that was done on purpose for the like yin and yang effect, because it almost feels like if you listen to the record and you look at that picture, there's a story built within inside of it. So was there a reason it was so minimal, black and white, and kind of Urban Decay-esque like that? Was that part of the entire story that you wanted that picture? So
We didn't have that picture in mind when it comes to the writing process or any kind of a concept or anything. But a good friend of mine in the U.S. in Colorado, he's a photographer, so he had a lot of photos lying around. So I was in contact with him when it comes to having some artwork for the new album, and this one just struck me and the band just to be perfect when it comes to, especially when it comes to the title of the album, because I mean you can have one title and you can have a cover art that in itself is beautiful and moving, but when it's combined with the title, it just gets so wrong. So it has to really connect. And about Mock Show, when it comes to there are many kind of interpretations when it comes to that one, but at least when it comes to out of something that's dark or to something that's light, or out of suffering, or at least an escape. That picture in particular spoke to me when it comes to getting out of that dark and murky place and out to something. You don't know what it is, and may not be that much better, but it looks better. It looks like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, or at the end of the world. I don't know. Yeah. So and also the more simplistic approach was something that just felt right. Yeah.
Cool. Did he compose it good for you as well too, or do you have anything you want to put on top of what Jon just said?
Very good.
All right, cool. That's awesome. So let's talk about Norway for a second, because there are some really interesting musical histories and elements that came from Norway. And I'm just gonna say that, like, musically, I feel like you are more inclined with bands from the UK, more from Finland, just because of the tonality. And I just wanted to see, as far as I'm sure there's plenty of places to play, but are you more of an outsider kind of sound there? Because I don't see a lot of doom coming from there anymore. I don't see a lot of darker music, a lot of post-black metal, a lot of jazzier stuff, a lot of more kind of experimental things. But in the essence, the kind of music you guys do seems like it's not in fashion there right now for what's being done. So I was wondering, is it tough for you guys to play live there, or do you have a lot of friends that just, hey, you know what, let's have a mixed bill and let's just make it interesting? So.
Interesting question, really. Well, we've always been kind of a small unknown band, and we still are. So when it comes to the gigs that we've played, we've played them. It hasn't been really a problem getting people to play with us, but we have a history of at least some record or magazines or reviewers and other people just couldn't find whatever genre to put us in, because we had so many things, and we just fell between all the chairs in the room, because at least when it comes to Germany, I think they're I'm kind of getting broad, and it's not my intention to put everyone in the same box, but it feels like people need to put you in either the doom or something else. It can't be several things, and for that reason, I think, or because our material, in my opinion, has quite a few of different elements, it's been hard to pinpoint the exact thing, and it also becomes kind of a little novel when it comes to describing your own music, because there's so many elements, and it's this and it's that. But I don't think we had any issues when it comes to Norway. But I think when it comes to genre, there are not so many bands active, to my opinion, or to my knowledge. There are, of course, a lot of when it comes to the place where me and Erlend is from the west coast of Norway. We have Theatre Tragedy, we have Tristania, we have Sirenia, we have Sins of Thy Beloved, all those old timers to call them that. They are, however, in a different genre, but we still have some things in common with them. But and there are some. Erlend, do you remember the bands from Trondheim? Where was it a label? I don't know. Yeah, there are some in Norway, I think, but to my knowledge, it's not really that common. So for my part, when it comes to do music, Saturnus is a big thing. I love Saturnus, and also other bands from the UK. So I guess it's natural to place us when it comes to at least our inspirations.
Yeah, I think when Kato and I had the first conversation about starting a band of this kind, I think we talked about My Dying Bride and Satyricon in the same sentence with the vocal power of Agnete from Madame Autumn.
Mm-hmm.
There was kind of that's where we kind of drew our first references from, and it's a challenge, as Jon says. This not corresponding directly to one kind of genre, but mixing a bit and just doing what you want. So we're too doomy for the death fans and too deathy for the doom fans. That's it. But also our latest gigs has been with a more old school black metal band, friends of ours, really great, and it's worked well. We're a mixed bill. It's we like that.
Absolutely. I think black metal bands would work well with you because there is a strong black metal overtone. It may not be heard all the time, but there is a strong black metal overtone. And it's kind of funny that you spoke about Theater of Tragedy because Tommy, their original guitar player, and I are long time friends. Like we ran a record label together in the early 90s. He helped me on my first record. We've been buddies for 25 years. So it's really funny that you mentioned that. So that's very cool. Yeah, so it's a small world when like the whole kind of thing happens like this. But the next thing I kind of want to talk about was your first two records were on a label, and this one looks like you've done it yourself. Was there a particular reason that you wanted to strike out on your own rather than work with the label for a third time? I'm just kind of curious.
Well, we had a kind of a record deal for the first album, and we had an option on the second. And when that was fulfilled, we didn't have any kind of obligation when it comes to the label. And there are many things to take into account when it comes to being a band. But for us, I guess it was kind of having a will to or having a notion at least, or a wish to do things a little bit more our way, maybe. But yeah, that's really the thing about that one, and it was kind of a challenge as well because doing the artwork and doing the promotion ourselves, and it's something else to do it independently for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess the next thing I'm going to ask is, as far as press that you've seen so far, has anything kind of stood out, good, bad, indifferent, like that either made you chuckle or smile or be like, oh, they absolutely get it, or oh my God, this is so different than what I expected to be able to read from or hear from someone? Is there any press that you've gotten that is, kind of shocked you in a good or bad way? So.
Well, first of all, it's been really interesting or at least overwhelming to get that much of good press, or press at all, because we haven't really done that much promotional work. We haven't been able to, and we don't. Yeah, it's kind of new territory for us. But we've been picked up by so many, you included, that just noticed the album and gave it a spin and wanted to talk about it. But of course, it's nice to be recognized by, like, No Clean Singing, for instance, when they actually do something in depth, and other web scenes when they delve into the lyrics, or at least when they take an emotional approach to it. There are some reviews that just go by track by track and just describe it, and to me it's kind of, I don't know, a bit redundant really, because if you want to have it described, then yeah, this guitar comes in there, and then there comes some vocals, and then there comes some female vocals. Then you can just listen to the album. For my part, I don't think I wanted that kind of an introduction if I wanted to check out a new band. So some of the reviews that I've actually touched into the lyrics or the history of the band or the emotional impact of it, there has been some of those, and that's really rewarding actually. And of course there's been some connotations and some links with things that we haven't really thought about, but when it comes to lyrics and emotion, there's nothing. I mean, your own interpretation is the one that works for you, so
Right.
Yeah, I will be hard pressed to go out and say, well, that was not the intention, that's this how it's supposed to be. That would be really wrong. So yeah, it's as long as it connects, as long as it moves and resonates with someone, that's mission done for my part, really. It's really heartwarming to see that so many people have been checking it out and giving it praise.
Yeah, I think it's really been a lot of good press for this one, and I'm kind of surprised by that. People picking it up, as you included, and actually showing interest and liking it. And always a bit nerve-wracking to open a new review and say, what do they say about it? How do they feel about it? And a lot of people like it, and they kind of, one thing is they like the music, yes, but it has an impact on a lot of people, and so it means a lot.
Good.
And there's also those individual encounters when you have an individual that just goes over themselves because they've never heard of the band that's been existing for 15 years, and where have you been, and those kind of things. I mean, it's one person, but it's so I don't know. It kind of moves you in a special way, because yeah, it's really interesting to see how much music can connect. I mean, you've sent it over the internet to a provider, and there's someone at the receiving end that just resonates so well with it. It's kind of magic, really. So yeah.
I always make that judgment as well, as it's the 10 or 12 people that like give me some personal input that really means more to me than anything in the world. I mean, it's great that I have 1,100 streams, like that's fantastic, but like it's the one person that'll write to you and say, hey, this song or this lyric or this riff like made me start writing music, or made me start looking in this direction. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about next. Was I wanted to go a little bit deeper into the kind of, so the theme of the name and the theme of the story. So as far as I could see, and I am not a scholar on this at all in any way, shape, or form, but it has a lot to do with like the Eastern caste systems and stuff like that. So what drove you to have such an interesting band name and album title, and kind of put all this theme together, when I feel like there's a lot of religious connotations in it, and it's not just one kind of religion. Like I see a lot, and again, I'm gonna diatribe for a second because I have to, and it drives me crazy when somebody calls you a Christian doom band. Like, because yeah, there's those elements, but there's so much more. And there's so many other layers that if you just take the time and listen, you'll hear. And that's what I like. But like, what brought you to this story, this ideal, this whole vision of the band?
Well, at least when it comes to the initial vision for the band, when it comes to portraying the portraying souls and maybe telling stories for people who have no voice. injustice, the darkness. The name Dalit just felt really right, because I mean the history when it comes to the caste system, and those people that are really outside of the caste system are treated really like non-human, or at least it's just a heart-wrenching thing in India, and I think just having that name just really resonated with what we wanted, at least both with the music but also with the lyrics. So yeah, and we had a lot of brainstorming about what the band name should be. We always have brainstorming when it comes to the album names and song titles, and maybe not so much song titles, but at least album names and the band name. And this one just immediately struck home with me. So having that one, and also when it comes to that Christian thing, I mean, I've been kind of fed up with the with the labeling, because I recognize myself as a Christian in some way or form, but the labels or the boxes that people want to put you in is so limiting. And I mean, I've seen some comments from at least Russia or some other places that just totally write us off because we have been labeled this or that, or and I mean, you're totally missing the point here. But I mean, we're not. Our lyrics aren't destructive in that form. We often represent what's wrong with the world. We often represent what has happened, and maybe we don't offer a solution to it all, but at least we offer some hope at the end. There's always hope, but having that label sometimes feels a bit hindering in my opinion as well. So it's a
well, don't in any way, shape, or form, because
it's a touchy thing. But
so
I don't know if you have any, Erlend, but
but before he starts, I just kind of wanted to say, like, remember that there wouldn't be bands like Trouble and Saint Vitus without Christian ideals, because Trouble may be one of the greatest heavy bands that ever come on this earth, all right, and they are devout Christians, all right, and you know what, that doesn't make it a bad thing. It just makes it like I love different views and different opinions, and if we can have them and not be assholes to each other, that's exactly. That's the most important thing. So
that's the most important thing, and just don't. It's it's a tough thing, really, because people want the easy answers and people want easy labels and want to pinpoint bands exactly where they want them. I don't know. We're not aliens to any Christian metal, the Christian metal scene. Not at all. We have good friends there, but personally, I'm not that fond of the label. But I guess it comes in different ways.
Erlend,
might be in the same way where it's limiting in the same way as musical labels, either doom or death or whatever. Also, it's a kind of sad thing though that some people write off, or as for other bands that has the label Christians, they write them off because I think, for my part, maybe that's they sometimes feel like the music is more of a tool than art itself. For me, it's always been about the art. It's music we play, and it's what we write or what we sing. It's the Christian thing is a part of our lives, and of course, to some extent, it's a part of our lyrics, but it's not the only thing.
Yeah.
There's also other aspects to life or whatever. So it's not a tool for or a vessel for our beliefs. It's art.
Yeah.
The most important thing is you say, just to let's have our opinions and not be assholes to each other. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, as long as the lyrics and music can make people not be assholes, we're happy. So yeah.
Right. But that's the point. Like the three of us can have three differing opinions and still have this
Yeah.
conversation, and
Yep.
that's what's important. So
Exactly.
yeah, and that's the way I feel. So awesome, guys. So I want to talk a little bit about music in 2021, 21st century extreme music. Let's say it for that. I feel, and I want to get your guys' opinion as well too, that there's a rebirth going on in music, in my opinion, and it has a lot to do with vinyl coming back. It has a lot to do with cassettes coming back. It has a lot to do with the digital age too, like Spotify and Bandcamp. But I feel like, guys, I'm old. I'm 48 years old. All right. I used to tape trade literally to people in North. That's how I met Tommy. Like literally, we sent letters back and forth to each other, and like that we realized we were like-minded souls, and we became friends. But I feel like that's happening again now in the digital age for the underground. Do you feel the same thing, or is there just too many bedroom bands out there, and like bands like yourself, if it's not someone like me that's digging to look for interesting and new music, that you get lost in the mire?
I think it's hard for bands. I mean, the tools and the ability to put your own music has been so accessible and so easy to. It's so easy to make music these days, at least, or maybe not make music, but at least to make content.
Mhm.
Um, and we'll leave it at that. No, but I mean, it's always about the song. It's always about the music. But I think it's harder to, at least it could be harder to get noticed these days. But at the same time, I'm happy I'm not in the pop industry, because that seems even worse. Because there's so many, I don't know, aspiring pop stars out there that's trying to get heard, and just putting out music on Spotify and Bandcamp, and just hoping to get picked up. And
Right.
you know, we have a different aspect to it. We would be doing this even if no one heard it, but because it's so meaningful to us and it's art. But we've been fortunate enough to have been picked up previously by a label who has done a really good job for us, and being able to spread us across the globe when it comes to the music. But yeah, I think I think it may be harder for new bands to get noticed. But then again, when you have a kind of a special genre like we operate in, usually the people listening to it are more passionate about it.
Yep.
And that's really rewarding. It's not just having people listening to it and going, yeah, that's okay, cool, I'll just put it on a playlist. Usually the people are really either hating it or really loving it. So the emotional reward for us is higher. But yeah, I don't know if that rant did anything good, but it's a different age for sure, because you know, album sales have been dropping. Just having physical copies out there may not be the wisest move for any band, because if you're not playing a lot of shows and selling merch, then chances are you're gonna get stuck with a lot of your own CDs and vinyls and stuff. So that's one of the reasons why we just gone full digital for this one, at least for the moment, because for us it was important to get the music out there as wide as we could. But we've been having an overwhelming demand for physical releases, so we might have to do something about that. But it's more about the accessibility, and yeah. I don't know if you have anything, Erlend, but it's different for sure.
Yes, there's different times. The years we've existed, the first two albums we could actually sell CDs, but now we're on our own, so we have no real feel with the market. So we just released it digitally, and we're okay with that. But I think it's cool that people want it in a physical format as CDs or vinyls. I love vinyls myself, so I would really like to have the music we made on vinyl. But it would be as a gift to our listeners, and more than anything else, we would be able to make a dime from it. But it would be cool to have. But it's as you say, maybe people actually are coming back to the physical formats. Maybe they're saturated from all the accessibility and Spotify, and it would be a good thing.
Especially in the cassette or the vinyl market, there's a rebirth. Like, there are people that specifically will buy any cassette release they find, and I know it's it's an archaic form, but people love it. And I think the reason why is because people still like to hold something and be able to read lyrics and look at images and kind of immerse themselves in, where it's great to have it on your phone and listen to it, be able to go anywhere. But there's some nights, man, I just want to sit here, hang out, put a record on, and and kind of immerse myself into it. And I agree. I think that world's starting to come back. So, especially for the underground scenes.
I just bought myself a CD player. For the first time in many years, I actually bought one and started listening to my old CDs again. That was kind of a fun experience, because I started when you have a playlist on Spotify or wherever, you get kind of lazy. Hear a song, you hear half a song, and so get the next song, and you actually have to be more active with the music, and you put on the CD and play it, and you kind of have to go through the whole process and listening to the CD without skipping. It's really rewarding to have to being forced yourself to listen to an entire work and actually been able to reading the lyrics and viewing the images. It was a good experience.
Yeah, and I really hope that's coming back, really, because listening to an album front to back, as the artist intended, should really be the norm, but it's not. And if at least for some subgenres or some parts of the music scene, that's becoming a thing, that would be really cool. But I have to be honest myself, because most of the music I listen to is digital when it comes to Spotify or Bandcamp, and I'm guilty of putting single songs on a playlist and just having a compiled playlist with favorites and things, but just having the vinyl or the CD is just something completely different. So right. You have like Steven Wilson. He recently released his catalog on Spotify, but previously he was really adamant of having it off Spotify, because he wasn't creating any digital content for those. I don't know why he changed it. Maybe it was economical reasons, but he had kind of artist vision that his albums should be listened to front to back and be in a physical format. But the shift with digital physical has been made apparent. So I guess some artists are caving in just to be able to survive. And at least now, when it comes to the COVID situation and also not being able to play live much, I think you have to do whatever you can. But yeah.
Yeah, no, and Porcupine Tree should be listened from beginning to end. That's not a band you should listen to one song and jump around on. So no, you're totally right. No, I see the same thing happen with like guys like Devin Townsend too. Like, he's starting to get a lot more active in the digital scene as well too, because they can't play, they can't do what they used to do. Like, I remember going to see him live and being absolutely blown away, or going to see, Porcupine Tree or Anathema and stuff like that, and just like mind-blowing shows. You don't have those anymore. So now you got to start doing, like I said, other things, so your fans can still know that you're around and you're there for them. So that's absolutely very cool. So I kind of want to ask you, this is going to be a really tough question, because I know you guys don't like to sell yourself in any way, shape, or form. But damn it, you're going to answer this question. So if someone was to pick up Moksha for the very, very first time and they were about to listen to the very first track, and you could give them a kind of a build up, like maybe an elevator pitch of what the record is going to bring to them. It doesn't have to be, exact styles, but what would you tell them that they're about to experience?
Wow. Yeah, it was a tough one. You want to go first, Alan?
I can try at least. I think it's a cliche, but it's a journey, both highs and lows. And you can, when you enter into it, it's you start, and then you go. I think it's a natural progression from this emotion that drags you in, and then you stay with it. You listen to it from front to back, and you really, you say, when anthem comes, it's I think it's the emotional highlight of the album. So it's the peak, and from there and then hallways, and it's and it ends up in this really slow Fløjotestøv, from earth to dust, and to translate it, it's a kind of it's a nice cool down.
Yes,
so it's a journey really that takes you from the emotional highs to lows. I think it's the best thing I can say. It's not a good speech, I know.
One of the reviews portrayed the album like from birth to death, really.
Yeah.
From a journey of a human's life, and I haven't put it that exactly, but it kind of makes sense as well. So
sure.
I guess it's interesting to get different perceptions or visions on your own work, but it kind of makes sense, at least with the Fløjotestøv, which is kind of a funeral song, or at least like an epitaph, or almost like an obituary. It kind of makes sense. So, but the sorrow laden aspect of it is really paramount in my book. Really, it's not a happy happy thing for sure. It's really deep down connection to the struggles and the events that happens in a human life. Really
nice. Thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but it's an album with a lot of conflict and struggle and life crisis, and yeah.
Cool. Awesome. No, and yeah, that's a great way to explain it. And I love always hearing that from the band. So that's why I ask. So here's my grand last question. And then I'm going to give you the floor for a few minutes. But I ask every band this every single time, and I get the most interesting conversation pieces ever. So if someone you could hand Moksha to and have them recreate the record in their image or style, what bands would you want that? Each one of you pick a band that you would love to hear re-record Moksha in their own image.
Wow.
That's the best question ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a privilege for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. I mean, some of the bands that I really are high up on my list are somewhat in the genre, so that would be kind of wrong. So
yeah,
it could be anybody. I don't care.
Yeah, I'd like to say Gojira, but that's the wrong. Yeah. I think the most obvious answer here is My Dying Bride, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my part.
Anybody outside the box at all, like that you would think that would be interesting?
Yeah, you mentioned Mother Mortem. That would be
cool.
Yeah, that's my choice. Yes, it is.
If we're talking about realistic choices here, but I think I would go for two actually. The first one would be Woven Hand.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I think David Eugene Edwards would do if he would do his mark on the thing, it would be something even darker than he normally puts out. So that would be interesting for sure. The other one would, I don't know, would be interesting to hear Rush's take on it.
Oh wow!
But I think when they're 2 out of 3 alive, so yeah, maybe maybe not.
You could still get 2 of them to do it, so that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
But interesting to hear get his vocals over that one. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. I think Alex could play some really interesting guitar pieces too, man. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So again, thank you so much, guys, for this. I absolutely love to be able to do this. Your record really just made me smile. It's like one of those records that I really have dug personally. And I am one of those people that listen to it from beginning to end. So just so you know, I don't listen to single songs. But in the next couple of minutes, I just kind of want to give you the floor, talk about what if Dalit's going to be doing, what's the future going to bring. I know touring isn't possible, but like, is there more music coming? Like, what's the next 6 months to a year hold for the band?
Well, yeah, the COVID situation has been kind of interesting for sure, and kind of affects everyone on the planet at the moment. So we were initially slated to play a festival in last November, but that didn't work out. So, but we've been able to at least dig out some more music. So we will be focusing on some new material now. Hopefully, trying to do some recording starting this summer for new songs. So when it comes to live playing, we will just have to see when the community opens up again. We have been talking about some other projects as well when it comes to the band. Can't really talk much about it now, but
Sure.
There are some things brewing for sure. Some live streams would be interesting, but we haven't really been able to pull that off financially, or just the apparatus around it. Because if we want to do something, we want to do it in a quality that's sufficient. It could be able to just put an iPhone in the corner and just play, but I don't know. I don't think it would be very rewarding to watch. So there are so many good live streams out there. I mean, you see some of the bands that just really kill it when it comes to production wise. So if we were going to do something like that, it would be kind of a step up. So yeah, we'll see what the future holds. But we're alive and well, and hopefully when there are some sort of traveling restrictions inside Norway as well, or at least recommendations. So when that kind of lifts, it will be easier for us to get together and rehearse and do more productive things. But for now, we kind of rely on the almighty internet and collaborate as well as we can over the sparse geographic locations we are.
Yeah. Also, this releasing this album and all the feedback, we kind of it's been a real boost for the band. It's been a long while where we've been kind of dormant. We've done a gig once in a while, and this release is kind of it's a release actually.
Yeah.
So in many ways, so we kind of got this kind of a bit of energy back into it, and we have some music lying around. We're trying to kind of got the willpower back to try and do something about it. It's gonna be so it's gonna be good.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much again, guys. Really appreciate you doing this. I would make sure that the Bandcamp and your Facebook links and stuff are all on it as well. And I will make sure that I expose this to the world as much as possible. So
thank you so much for your kind words, man. I really appreciate it.
You got it, guys. Again, Clint from the Doorway 2, hanging out with Dalit. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great night.
Hey, good night.
Excellent.